International news. Conflicting reports are emerging from Panjshir Valley of Afghanistan, where the Taliban are still battling to extinguish the last flame of resistance. Taliban forces have taken full control of the Panjshir Valley, where opposition forces had been holding out, three Taliban sources said. Meanwhile, former Vice President Amirullah Saleh and one of the leaders of the opposition forces told that reports he had felt the country were live. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said that the alliance would seek to evacuate more vulnerable Afghans and maintain contact with the Taliban, but the Afghanistan new rulers would have to show themselves worth of aid and recognitions. He also said many Afghans who have cooperated with international forces and could therefore be at risk from the Taliban are still in Afghanistan. Shopping unions ready to engage with the new Taliban government in Kabul, but their group must respect human rights and not allow Afghanistan to become a base for terrorism. The EU Foreign Policy Chief said. Joseph Borrell also urged that Taliban should also set up a transitional government through negotiations among the country political forces. Taliban has launched diplomatic efforts to address global concern. Taliban political officer Chief Sheikh Mohammed Abbas Satanzai met envoys of Pakistan, UK, Canada, India and Germany in Doha, EJRA. They discussed the current Afghan situation, humanitarian assistance, better relations based on mutual interest and respect, reconstruction of Afghanistan. The US State Department has refused to endorse former Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, claimed that 10 to 15,000 Pakistanis had joined the Taliban offensive on Kabul. Instead, a senior State Department official praised Pakistan and other partners for providing critical assistance to US efforts to evacuate Americans, troops and civilians from Afghanistan. In a meeting with UK Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs Dominic Raab, the Prime Minister of Pakistan Imran Khan stressed on the need for the international community to stand in solidarity with the Afghans. He stressed on the need for the international community to stand in solidarity with the Afghans, said also warned about the role of spoils both inside and outside Afghanistan, which could destabilize the situation. Turkey concerned losing a nuclear-armed country to China and having an influence over the Taliban prevents the United States administration from moving further away from Pakistan, shows a set of documents leaked to the media. The message showed that Washington sees Pakistan as a nation with links to the Afghan Taliban whose cooperate on fighting terrorism can be helpful, and that is why the Joe Biden administration is quietly pressing Pakistan to cooperate on fighting terrorist groups. US President Joe Biden has ordered review of the potential disclassifications of documents from the FBI investigation into the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States. Family members of the victim of the September 11 attack asked a US government watchdog to investigate their suspicions that the FBI lied about the evidence linking Saudi Arabia to the hijackers. 13 Palestinians were injured by Israel force during demonstration against illegal Jewish settlement in the occupied West Bank. Israel and Palestine estimates indicate that there are about 650,000 settlers in West Bank settlement, including occupied Jerusalem. Under international law, all Jewish settlements in occupied territories are considered illegal. Poverty in Lebanon has drastically increased over the past year and now affects about 74% of the population, according to the UN Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia. Inflation shared to 281% between June 2019 and June 2021 in the country. ESCWA Executive Secretary reiterated her call for the establishment of a social solidarity fund to variety the country humanitarian crisis. Pakistani news. British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has called on a Chief of Army Staff General Shoaib Bajwa. The two dignitaries discussed the current situation of Afghanistan, cooperations in multiple fields, including security, cooperation, joint training, and counter-terrorism domain. British Foreign Secretary said that diplomatic cooperations with Pakistan will be expanded at all levels. Chief of Army Staff General Kamarjit Bajwa and Prime Minister of Azad Kashmir Sardar Abdul Qayyum Niazi on Saturday met to discuss the situation of Indian illegally occupied Kashmir. According to Inter-Service Public Relations, General Kamarjit Bajwa assured the AJK Premier of Pakistan Army continued support for the Kashmir cause. Spokespersons of Taliban said that Pakistan can rest assured it will not have any threat from Afghanistan. Speaking online at international conference, Sabila Mujahid said Afghanistan hopes Pakistan helps to Afghan nations will continue in terms of its peace efforts and increasing the bilateral trade and commerce. Prime Minister Imran Khan launched the Islamabad Chamber of Commerce and Industry Property, Housing and Construction Expo. Addressing the ceremony, the Premier said the construction sector was the biggest provider of a job opportunity because it had numerous industry attached to it. The foreign officer sworn the Indian charged the affairs and conveyed Pakistan's strong demarche on Indian occupation forces' inhumane handling of the mortal remains of veteran Kashmir leader and freedom fighter Syed Ali Shah Gilani. The spokesperson said it was conveyed that the Indian forces' shameless act of snatching the body of Syed Ali Shah Gilani from his family and disallowed his burial according to his will was in blatant violations of international humanitarian law. Burton will not recognize the Taliban as the new government in Kabul, but must deal with new relatives in Afghanistan. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has said during a visit to Pakistan. In his remarks, Pakistani FM Shah Mahmood Qureshi said things are evolving in Afghanistan and both countries hope it evolves into the right directions of peace and stability. The first Minister of Balochistan and the founder of Balochistan National Party Sardar Ataullah Mengal was laid to rest in assistant town of Wadha in Kozdar district. The BNP has announced a 40 days mourning period. A complete strike was observed in the town of Wadha. National Institute of Cardiovascular Disease has started a pediatric cardiac electrophysiology program in the country. Electrophysiologists work to treat a child heart electrical system. A trained pediatric cardiologist with 2 years of training at University of Alberta in Canada, Dr. Mohammed Mohsen, will do the procedure. In view of intelligence reports, then Police Chief Mushtaq Ahmed Mahar has issued a threat alerts about possible terror attacks. And Police Chief has warned that the possible stoppage act could be carried out in the early days of September. At least 4 people were electrocuted in Karachi as the intermittent heavy shower worked heavy on civic and K-electric system. Different areas of the port city continued to receive moderate to heavy shower on Saturday under the influence of our monsoon system. Health news. More children want to be the hospital and emergency room in states with the lower vaccination rates, according to a new study from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And 2 weeks period of mid to late August, emergency visits were 3.4 times higher in the states with the lowest vaccination rates, and hospitalizations were 3.7 times higher than in states with the highest vaccination rates. COVID-19 has claimed 79 more lives in Pakistan during the last 24 hours, pushing the nationwide tally of fatalities to 26,114. According to the latest figure issued by the National Command and Operation, 3,980% tested positive for COVID-19 and COVID positivity rate was recorded at 6.21%. Science and technology news. NASA Perseverance rover seeks in its second attempt to scoop up a piece of matte and rock for future analysis by scientists on Earth. The U.S. Space Agency is later uncertain because a mistake after the rover's arms complete sample acquisitions were inclusive due to poor sunlight conditions. Indians saw another bird of a two-headed calf, this time in the Dholpur district in Rajasthan state. The black-colored animal has 2 mouths, 4 eyes and ears, each along with 2 necks. A veterinarian said it happens without any help, adding that the calf is under the care of and doing well. Pakistani Montenegrin Sirbaz Khan is said to become the first Pakistani in history to summit more than 8 of the world's highest 14 peaks, meshes over 800-meter high. Sirbaz announced this departure for Nepal to attempt Mount Bilbharkiri, which measures 187 meters above sea level and is the world's 7th highest peak. An air full house turned out to watch Afghanistan top cricketers play in a trial match with Taliban and Afghan flag waving side by side in what sports official called a show of national unity. It was the first match since the Taliban swept to power on August 15. The two sides called peace defenders and peace heroes features many members of the Afghan national team currently preparing for the 2020 World Cup to be played in UAE and Oman from October 17. Bangladesh won their second 2020 against New Zealand by 4 runs to go 2-0 up in their 5 matches series. Bangladesh made 141 for 6 from their 20 overs, while New Zealand chased only came alive in the final overs. Portugal's football star Cristiano Ronaldo has broke the iconic record for most goals scored in international matches, and his name has been added to the Guinness World Records. Expressing his gratitude, the 36-year-old footballer wrote on Instagram, "Thank you to the Guinness World Records. Always good to be recognized as world record breakers." Entertainment news. Lollywood actor Reema Khan is super proud of the work her husband is putting in towards relief and welfare work for Afghan refugees. Khan posted a few pictures of her husband on social media on an airfield. "My husband, Dr. Syed Tariq Sahab, is on his way to Doha, Qatar with Team USA to help and take care of the Afghan refugee." Pakistani actor Mina Khan's bridal shower was star-studded affair. Sara Ali, Sapoor Ali, Kinsa Hashmi and Emma Khan hosted a slumber party them bridal shower for Mina Khan. Minal is tying the knot with Ehsan Mohsin Akram on September 10. Swedish supergroup ABBA announced their first new album in 4 decades. Their forthcoming album, which is to be released November 5th, is follow-up to a 1981 disaster. They would stage a series of visual concerts using digital avatars of themselves in London next year. Interplanetary Battles rocked the Venice Film Festival as shown. One of their most hotly anticipated blockbuster in the year finally landed for its world premiere, based on a landmark of a sci-fi literature about warring clans fighting for control of a desert planet. The film boasts a $165 billion budget and critically adored director in Canadian Denis Villeneuve. Business news. The U.S. economy added fewer jobs than expected in August as employment rose by 235,000. Despite their disappointing hiring levels, their unemployment rate fell to 5.2% in August from 5.4% in July. President Joe Biden said he was disappointed but defended his record on the economy, saying it was growing consistently. Pakistan trade deficit mounted by 119.94% in the first 2 months of the fiscal year 2022 to $7.491 billion against $3.406 billion last year. The trade deficit too driven largely by an almost double increase in imports compared to export from the country. The rupee appreciated 0.4% against the US dollar in the interbank market, closing the week at West 166.91. The rupee has depreciated around 10% since May became their worst performer in Asia, according to the basket of 13 currencies. Pakistan Lexing Troop and Middle Eastern budget carrier Air Arabia said that they would launch a low-cost airline service domestic and international routes from Pakistan. Flights now will operate as a joint venture between the pair. For more updates, keep watching OPtv Global.